Hello everyone. In this screencast I will be explaining the design choices I made for my infographic. This infographic is aimed at shocking people into making healthier lifestyle choices, or at the very least getting them to start thinking about living healthier. I began with a study on people's greatest fears to make a personal connection and set up for making a point later in the graphic. If you start right off the bat challenging someone's views, they are likely going to stop reading, or at the very least carry a negative attitude throughout the graphic. I then used a second study on fears of diseases in particular to transition to a more serious tone. We then come to the meat of the infographic, a 2013 CDC mortality report. The goal of this graphic was to surprise people with how many more heart disease deaths and cancer deaths there were than any of the other things people were worried about. I finished off the infographic by tying back to the beginning while associating poor lifestyle choices with death. Now for design decisions. I chose a general color scheme of dark browns with muted yellow for accents. The dark browns is actually a darker value of the yellow color to make text easier to read. This color scheme gives the infographic a slightly aggressive feel. Even in nature, black and yellow stripes mean caution and danger. Yellow is also the most attention-grabbing color, so using it to accent words like fears, and diseases, and deaths allowed me to tie it back to cheeseburger without having to refer back to it throughout the infographic. I further reinforced these relationships with an anomaly principle to further connect cheeseburgers, representing poor health, with death and disease. All of the text is in the same color except for the keywords, which are in yellow, which links all of the keywords together. I used the very simple continuation principle to help move the eye down the page. I moved the focus back and forth in a wave pattern down the page so that everything flows together throughout the infographic. For the mortality report, I chose to adapt the data into a shape of a coffin to help reinforce the consequences of poor lifestyle choices. I chose to highlight the heart disease and cancer area with yellow to help tie the data back to the buzzwords. I also included some other fears that people have, like diabetes and Alzheimer's, to help illustrate the point that the heart disease and cancer problem is so much larger than any of the other fears that people have. I wanted to include one more graphic to directly tie the mortality graphic back to poor food choice. However, I could not find a good way to represent the data, so I settled for a simple description overlaid over an image of a burger. This design could definitely use some work by a professional designer with a more appropriate design program. However, I still think it gets the general point across. Feel free to contact me with any questions or comments. Thanks for watching.